Course 2, Lesson 19. We are going to be on page 128 today, and we are looking at the idea of perimeter. What is perimeter? Perimeter of any shape means simply the outside sides of a shape. So if we call this 4 and we call this 3, that means this is 4 and this is 3, and perimeter basically adds all of these to tell us what the answer is. Okay, so 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So our perimeter is the outside measurements and what that equals. Okay, so not too difficult of a task, I don't think, but we just need to make sure we understand what's happening when we have multiple sides. So what happens when we have a shape that looks like this, and we have one side that's called 8? Well, if this side is equal to every other side, and I realize my drawing is not great, however, that means this is 8, this is 8, this is 8, and so on, right? So how many 8s are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know that 6 times 8, that would equal 48. So our perimeter, and whatever that is, if it's millimeters or centimeters or inches or feet or yards, or you get the idea, right? So we're just finding the outsides of things, okay? Look at example 3 on page 129. It gives us a shape that looks something like this. Maybe not exactly to scale, but I just want to show you a couple things that they're going to ask you to do, okay? All right, couple things that you don't know. All right, this 4 tells us this spot. This 8 tells us this spot. 11, of course, this side, and 5 this side. What we don't know is the length of this, and we don't know the length of this. Okay, so let's call that A and let's call that B. All right, how do we find out the perimeter of this whole thing? Well, we know a couple of things. We know that 8 takes us here and 4 gets us the rest of the way, which means that if 8 would take us here and 4 would take us the rest of the way, 8 and 4 equals 12. So we know that this bottom is equal to 12. Okay. Similarly, we know that this whole side is 11 and we have 5 here. So what's the difference between 11 and 5? Well, this has to be 6. So A is equal to 6. Okay. So we are going to add all of these up. We're going to say 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 12 plus 11. So I've gone from here all the way around to the outside, and that's what my answer will be. And we'll come up with 46 feet total. Okay, so it's just about finding all of those outsides, and you should be able to come up with your answer pretty well, pretty easily. All right, that's your lesson. Pretty simple, finding perimeter. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.